You're listening to the Sad Boy Podcast.
Yeah.
Sad.
Sad boy, yeah.
Very, very sad. Very sad.
Alright, welcome back to the Sad Boy Podcast. Usually Lucas is the one that kind of does the intro, but his internet has been very wonky. It's been weird, so he's been cutting in and out for quite a bit.
Am I back?
Oh, there, he's back.
Hi,
Just as
Lucas.
I said that.
Am I back?
Yeah,
I
you're
think I'm
back. Did you like IT fix your internet?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so we have Lucas back now. He says that he has fixed his internet
For now.
For
Yeah,
now,
temporary
so
fix.
a temporary fix. Is it because you closed Maple Story?
No, I did close it like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. So like
Lucas is the IT guy.
my latency is just like really bad. I just keep on like disconnecting. So
Well, I think like in the beginning, everyone said like that's to be expected because it's like everyone's using the internet servers or whatever nowadays.
yeah, I don't know. Everyone's on Maple Story.
Yeah. So this week we have our guests back. We have Cindy, Alex, and Ellen.
Hi.
What's up?
So last time we talked about Asian Heritage Month.
Oh my god, I
And-
can hear everyone.
This is a miracle for Lucas today. Last week we talked about Asian Heritage Month, and it was very educational. Cindy taught us about what Heritage Month was, since none of us knew. So this week we were gonna talk about like comfort zones.
Mm-hmm.
So with comfort zones, I had this conversation with Cindy like a few days ago, or maybe like a week ago, and I think this came up because we were talking about careers and jobs and everything. And I think the example that I used was kind of like it was comparing like kind of like government jobs, because government jobs have been known to like they pay well and everything, but they're kind of there to like they pay you well enough so that you stay because they don't want you to leave. And I think that's also similar to like big tech companies like Google and Facebook, where they make their work environment like very fun so that you don't really feel like you want to leave. And
Actually, well, Google's benefits are pretty good as well. So
oh
Yeah,
really?
the pay is super high too. You're talking about like six figures at that point.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's the other thing, right? Like they make it so that like you don't want to leave the job at all.
well, the thing is, if you get hired at Google, it's a miracle. Like if you don't get accepted the first time, they won't accept you again.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
God damn.
That's the thing about Google. That's how
Oh.
hard it is.
They're so
Yeah.
cutthroat.
Well, I'm gonna Google how to get into Google.
Oh my god.
Honestly, me too. Same. Yeah, I wish I could do that too.
Because me and Lucas are like tech industry, so like if we ever like got to work for Google, like that's a miracle.
Yo, if I work for Google, I probably won't. Like as competitive as the work is, I probably won't leave. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
If Google even hires us.
that's true. Well, actually, the thing is, I had a friend that he had an interview with Facebook, and then he apparently like in the end he turned down the Facebook job because he said the thing with Facebook as a brand, it's not really doing that well
Oh.
compared to like the other IPs that they've bought, like Instagram and all of that. Like those are doing a lot better than Facebook brand itself.
Wow.
Yeah, because technically it's true, right? I think
Yeah.
like for me, I usually check Instagram a lot more than Facebook.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, so it does make sense for that. But yeah, back to like comfort zone stuff. Another example that I talked about was kind of you know people who work retail jobs. Like I don't know if you guys have friends who are like around your ages or our ages, like that they're still working retail jobs, and it's kind of like they've started from like just like a part-time sales job or whatever, and then now they've worked up to maybe like an assistant manager or whatever at the retail store, and they feel comfortable and they're just staying there. I don't know if you guys have friends like that.
Yeah.
I was like that. So
Oh
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So the example that I used that example when I was talking to Cindy, and I was saying how like when it comes to people like that, like obviously I get that sometimes those jobs, it's like you kind of befriend everyone that works there, right? So it kind of ends up being kind of like a social thing and a work thing because you have fun with the people that you work with, and then that kind of makes it even harder for people to want to leave, and then people just stop pursuing their passions and ambitions.
I mean, it's not just because of like you're being comfortable with your coworkers. I guess you're comfortable with your environment and you don't want to change. Like,
And then it's that fear of like you got to go to another job and you got to get used to everything again.
yeah, and
I
like
guess
if you want to quit and you don't have a job lined up, you can't really quit, right? So that's why like people stay there.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Yeah,
also pushing yourself to go to or to apply to another job because it's it's like scary, right? And that's the
yeah,
cool thing about comfort zones. It's like you're basically, you know, happy with where you're content with where you are and you're comfortable.
yep,
You're fine with everything.
Yeah, I
yeah.
totally agree. And also, I feel like it's so like job hunting, like in itself, it's just so tiring. It's like really draining too.
Oh, it's a
It's like
job in itself.
yeah, it's like time, like it's like a lot of time and investment out of your day too. Which I guess like when I worked in retail, after my shift, like I would quickly leave my work because I was so tired and all I wanted to do was sleep. But I kept pushing myself to apply to jobs, so I can understand why people would stay in retail just to avoid that.
Avoid the stress of job hunting and all that.
Yeah, it is so
yeah.
stressful. Oh my goodness.
It really is stressful.
Yeah, and like it's also like depending on like which industry you're going into, right? Because I know like for design and like developers and everything, we have to have portfolios as well. It's not just like cover letter, resume, and then we just go into like talk. We actually have to have our artwork and everything or projects on a website to showcase to them. So it's like
Yeah, it's hard.
it's extra work on top of. I'm not sure about IT though.
That's too much work. I feel like it's just cover letter and resume and stuff.
And oh,
Mostly
because
connections
they
too,
usually
right?
like test you as well during the interview, anyways, right?
Yeah, they do.
Because like we get to because for design and tech, I'm from what I remember, the process was always like you do the phone interview, and then if you're okay, you go in for a first interview, and then you do a design or developing test or whatever, and then you do a second interview, and then you get it, or whether you get it or not, that's after that. But yeah, like I had a friend who I worked with in culinary. He's in marketing, so we both worked in culinary because we had a passion for cooking, but then I realized that he was just kind of doing it because he wanted money, not really for passion. And then the more I interacted with him, I realized he didn't really have much passion in his life. Like he was kind of like he just goes wherever life throws him and he just does whatever. So after me and him quit culinary, he decided to take a job in Uber. He worked at like those offices where they approve or reject people who want to be drivers or Uber Eats delivery people. So at the time, he was kind of like, oh, like whatever. Like I have a marketing degree, but I don't really know what I want to do, so I'm just gonna work here for now. Um, but he was lucky because I think after working at Uber for like a few years, he actually got moved to the head office downtown, and then I think he was one of the account representatives for Uber Eats, but then now he switched over to Skip the Dishes just before Uber Eats started like having all this like controversy stuff that's happening to them right now. And then like back then, me and him, we'd I would talk to him a lot back then about like the different like ambitions or like projects that I want to do or that I was doing, and then his response was always like, oh well, once you make it, remember to like keep in contact with me, if you get that like Lamborghini, remember to let me drive it. And then that was kind of when I realized like I don't, not that he's like a bad person, but I think that when you put someone who is willing to like go out of their comfort zone with someone who is like would rather stay in their comfort zone, I don't know, like you eventually like you get influenced by other people, right? So I kind of like stopped talking to him because I want to be around people that can push me to be better.
Right. That's totally
Yeah.
Yeah.
true. I
Yeah.
also
That's
feel
fair.
like I don't know. I feel like it's part of like the Asian culture too, because I know like there's some relatives who are like when you go to them, they expect you to pay for them for everything, and they want to like leech off from you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was another reason why I stopped really talking to him, because it felt like he just started trying to mooch off of me.
Like
He
that's
ain't
not the
he
Asian.
ain't driving that
There's
Lambo.
people like there's some people who just want to leech off. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas is driving the Lambo.
I'm driving the Lambo. Yeah, fuck that.
Lucas replaced him. But like when it comes to comfort zones, like I'm pretty sure like all of us, we have certain things that we've been afraid of doing and that we pushed ourselves, and stuff that we haven't pushed ourselves. So like I want to hear like what are you guys, just one other, you guys don't have to like expose yourselves that much about like what you're all afraid of, but like for me one of the things was like speaking a different language. So like I know Mandarin, just not that fluent. Like if someone speaks too fast with me, then I may not hear everything properly. And I took Korean lessons in summer school back in university, and even when I was in Korea, I was afraid to speak Korean because I was scared that I would pronounce things wrong.
No, I'm the
I
same
mean,
thing
like,
too,
try anyways.
honestly, because when I was learning French, like I wouldn't speak French to like native people, but I'll speak French to people who were learning French because I felt so ashamed too.
Yeah, it's that fear, like, oh, like shit, like what if I pronounce this wrong? Like they're gonna make fun of me, they're gonna judge me.
Yeah, and they're gonna make fun of my accent and everything. They're gonna call you fake too. Like I totally understand where you're coming from. Because that
Yeah.
happened to me too when I went to China. Because one of my comfort, like, I went out of my comfort zone like last summer when I went to China. Because was China was always a place I wanted to go, but I was kind of scared to go because I didn't speak the language too.
Hmm.
And then, like, I have an Asian face too, so it's gonna look so bad if I don't speak Mandarin, and like you look Chinese. So then, um, when I went to China, like I guess like a lot of people did judge me because like um they thought like I spoke Mandarin, even though I didn't. But then I don't know, it took me some time to realize that people in China they haven't really gone out of China to see that there's other like Chinese people who are living outside of China.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like
Yeah.
don't most people in China send like their kids over to America for school anyways?
Oh, but that's like only like
Yeah.
1/5 of the population who does that, or like less than that. It's like the 1%, and
Oh, really?
1% out of a billion people in China. Like not a lot of people go to overseas. There's a lot of people who stay in China to do their education. Like you have to be
Oh,
super rich to do your education in China. I mean, no, not in China, in Canada or like the U.S. or traveling abroad.
well, that explains all those international students from university that drove Lamborghinis and McLarens to school.
Must be nice.
I know. Actually, I remember there was a story I heard back then of I think it was like this girl, she her parents gave her like a lot of money to come here, but then I think she bought like a Mercedes Benz, and then she didn't even have a place to live, but she lived in her Mercedes Benz. Like she just
Wait,
used the money.
What?
Wasn't this someone our mutual friend know?
I feel like it is.
I think it is.
I think it is.
Yeah, because we talked about this before. But yeah,
Yeah, like they took all the money that their parents gave her, and then she just like bought a Mercedes, and she just slept in the Mercedes instead.
is that was that her comfort zone? Sleeping in Mercedes.
Yeah, it was outside of her comfort zone to sleep at a proper apartment or condo. But what about Alex and Ellen? Like, what has been an experience where you guys like stepped out of your comfort zone, or like something that you guys are still struggling with?
My comfort zone was so back to the work thing. Like for me, I'm comfortable at work, and I don't see that as a bad thing. And it's because I try to push myself outside in my own personal life. So like traveling by myself or taking on a new hobby kind of thing. Especially like when it comes to traveling by yourself, like as a girl, there's a lot of like stigma and there's a lot of fear behind it because girls
Yo,
shouldn't travel by
I can't
themselves
hear
or
Alex.
anything like
So
that.
I'm actually
Oh, shit.
scared of traveling alone.
Oh, okay.
It's just weird because like I think my whole life I spent traveling with my parents,
Mhm.
and most of the times they kind of, I mean, they pay for stuff, right? So that's already like one huge benefit that I don't have to pay that much. But it's just like usually like no matter what, my parents are kind of there to like if I do screw something up, like they're kind of there to quote unquote like fix whatever it is that I screwed up, right? So
Mhm.
like I'm very used to just kind of having my parents, I guess, to lean on when it comes to vacation stuff. So I never really had that need to go on vacation by myself.
Mhm.
But
And you guys are a group, so you work as a
So,
team, where
I'm lagging right
versus you
now,
have to
so
do
I
everything
can't
on your
hear
own.
anyone.
yeah,
Everyone's blurred
and
out, so I
then
have
but
no idea
then
what's
like
going
a
on.
few years ago when me, my mom, and my dad we went to Hong Kong and Korea, I kind of lost my patience going on vacation with them because I think so what happened during this vacation was kind of like my dad, it was like the first time I went on vacation with my dad after like it's been like forever that I've done this. So like I think in my dad's mind, he still had that traditional, Asian father mindset where like he's the one that has to make the decisions and that
Mhm.
his decisions will be right or correct. So I think we almost got into like many arguments. For example, like in Korea, when we were saying like, oh, we live like here, but we have to like, go to this restaurant over in this area. And then my dad would be like taking out like a map book or whatever and like start looking at the maps and everything. But then I had like my phone and I was on Google. I'm like, well, technically this route is a lot faster. But then my dad would try to argue with me, and then I eventually I did lose my patience, and I was kind of okay, yeah, we'll go like the way you say then. And I think we did get lost like a few times. So my dad was kind of stuck in this mentality where like he's the father figure, he's the one that has to make these decisions. He doesn't think that like uh, the children, like his sons or daughters,
Mhm.
can like make those decisions. But then I kind of proved to him like obviously Google Map and everything like shows you like the fastest route, right? So
Mhm.
I kind of proved it to him, and then yeah, he flew to Shanghai after, and then me and my mom flew to Hong Kong. But like, I think after that experience, I think now I'm kind of like I want to go on vacation by myself.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm also someone who's like a homebody. So like,
Yeah.
would I go on vacation by myself
Like I'm
somewhere?
very much a homebody, but going on vacation by yourself, you learn a lot about yourself. And last week we try to talk about comfort zones in the chat, and I mentioned that like I had a lot of social anxiety at one point, and I think traveling by yourself makes you very vulnerable, and that also helped with a lot of my social anxiety because
Mhm.
it made me push outside of like the box of like, oh, you have to ask for directions, and you um have to sit at a restaurant and eat dinner by yourself, kind of thing.
Oh, yo, even that thing, even eating at a restaurant by myself, I can't do that.
Oh, I love it. I
I
honestly
hate it.
love it so much now.
I hate it.
Like, would you
I,
go
I, I
fine dining by yourself?
Yeah, I've done
Ellen?
it.
no,
Oh my, like
I
the
can't.
keg, like would you eat there by yourself?
I can't. I can't.
Not like in Toronto, but I think because if I travel by myself, I like I have, if I want to eat at the fine dining places, I'll have to eat by myself, you
Oh
know?
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I did that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
while traveling.
But it's nice because you
Oh,
get to eat what you want, you get to do what you want.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that one. But I thought you meant in Toronto. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Like I've done it in Toronto a few times, like on my lunch break or like after work kind of thing, but not like obviously not to like the keg, but I've been to like ramen or something like that, like something simple. But when I travel, like, and I want to experience a fine dining place, I am more than willing to eat by myself.
I can't do that. Oh my god, I actually can't do that. So before
So I
quarantine,
disconnected
anytime I want to
earlier.
go
I'm
to
not
eat,
sure
I
if like
always
still here.
ask people to eat with me.
So rep.
Hmm
Or like I wait until like, for example, like when Anthony messages me like, do you want to grab lunch? And I'll be like, okay, I'm still in bed, but okay, let's go.
Mhm.
Like I can never eat alone unless like I actually like really have to, like there's no other choice. Then okay, sure, like I'll eat alone. But I think it's because when I grew up, I used to go like dim sum with my parents like early in the morning, like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. times, and that's when like all the grandpas and grandmas are out eating, right? And then I remember back then I would see a lot of like grandpas or grandmas eating alone by themselves, and I just felt like so sad. And ever since then, I've tied that emotion from those
Oh.
moments to now, and it's just like I feel like if I'm eating alone in a restaurant, it makes me feel like I'm a loner.
Oh yeah, I
Mm.
totally agree. Like I always feel that when I see like people eating by themselves. But I feel like if you're like a young person eating by themselves, like it's kind of like okay.
So like technically, yes, it is okay. It's just like that's still been like a hurdle for me to like get over. Like I
Yeah.
still would prefer to eat with someone.
Mhm. Mhm. It's definitely more enjoyable
Am I
eating with
back?
someone.
Am I back?
And
Am I back? I think I'm back.
So okay, so I've been watching the recording screen. I've seen Lucas drop in and out nonstop. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
welcome back, Lucas.
Okay.
I've been gone for like 10 minutes. I refreshed, so I'm not sure how my recording is. So
It's fine.
I'm not,
I actually don't know how the recording is gonna be either.
I'm not sure you'll get the first one.
It's gonna be funny. I can't wait.
Hey, this episode's gonna be lit.
Oh yeah, we were talking about eating alone. Oh, Lucas even typed on the chat thing. I'm gone again.
Oh my God.
Oh my god. Okay, well, welcome back, Lucas. But yeah, we were talking about like eating at restaurants alone,
Yeah, I got some part of that.
and Lucas's mom. Okay, Lucas's mom is cameoing again.
Is my mom louder than me? I think my mom's louder than me.
Yeah. But yeah, Lucas, can you eat at restaurants alone?
Depends.
Did you say
Like
yeah? I heard it. Yeah.
it depends on my mood. Okay. Give me a
Like, would you voluntarily go to eat alone?
It depends if I'm on my like work break or not, right?
Depends on
if
your
I'm
mood.
on break from work, then yes.
I hear Alex in the background.
Oh, he's asking if we lost Lucas
I
again.
hear Alex in the background.
Oh, well, I hear Lucas's mom more than Lucas.
Wait,
So
did you
Lucas
lose me
said
again? Am I still here?
it depends on how he's feeling. So like, is it when you're a sad boy or a happy boy?
Depends if I'm on break.
Oh, okay, no,
from
excluding
work.
break though. Like I'm saying, like on a weekend. Oh, really? Interesting. Would you go KBBQ by yourself?
Wait, what? No, I would not.
Did you?
Yeah, but I also went to Korea by myself.
Oh yeah, Alex went on
That's true.
his like Japan trip by himself.
Asia by myself was great. I've never actually really traveled before, so that was the
really?
first. Yeah.
You were gone for like a month, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember like the thing that I remember the most about your trip was that you actually didn't even spend that much money in Japan.
I ate whatever I wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean like in terms of the accommodation, because the thing is like if I were to go to Japan, I'm pretty sure my parents would probably like try to like tag along, and when that happens, it's like they're very picky about where they stay, so then the price is obviously higher. But then I guess the benefit of traveling alone is like you stayed at like those hostels, right?
Yeah.
And you made a lot of friends with like the people that were staying there as well.
Yeah, I just needed a bed really, so.
Yeah, because you're usually out like traveling, right?
Yep. There's no need
Sightseeing
to get
and
a
all
big
that
room
stuff.
and a big bed and all that stuff.
That's true. That's actually very true.
Yeah, you don't need to like share
I wish
like,
I
the
could do
hotel
that.
with anyone, so that saves money too.
You even went to music festival, right?
Yeah, I went to EDC.
You see Japan or something?
See, Alex was living the dream in Japan.
Let's go back.
We're
Oh
under
wait,
quarantine.
that
I
was me.
know.
Can't go anywhere.
Sad face.
I know we're all under quarantine. Wait, so okay, just like going on a tangent from comfort zones though, like once the quarantine's done, what country or like where do you want to go first for vacation?
I just want to go to a restaurant and eat.
All right, so Alex wants to travel to a restaurant. We'll meet you at Gyubi.
Okay.
Perfect. What about
See
you
you there.
guys? Because I've seen this question pop up like multiple
Um,
times from like the subtle Asian groups where like they've asked like what's the one country or city that you'd want to visit after quarantine's over. Judging that like saying assuming that everything's like back to normal.
I think the
well,
problem
I'm
is people
supposed to
don't
go
have money to
like,
travel.
Japan in
'cause-
September.
And yeah, people have no money to
Yeah.
travel because I think so when I talked to my non-self friends, they actually said that they think that tour companies will probably have very, very cheap vacation packages or whatever after this because they'll probably want people to like hop on traveling like as soon as possible to make money. But then I also read like other articles saying like how it's probably gonna be even more expensive than before now.
It will be because they need to make that lost money back, right? In some way or
That's
another.
also true.
Well, like most
Well,
airlines,
it's 'cause I saw
profits are,
like
airplane fee and stuff.
That's true. Like no, because like I saw an article saying like for example like haircuts. The article was saying like how haircuts might be even more expensive after all of this.
What? That's crazy.
Because there's less
Yeah.
demand. Because everyone's cutting their own hair.
No,
I
not
thought
that
there'd be
less
more
demand.
demand.
I think it's gonna be more
I mean,
demand.
it'll be more in demand.
But
if anything.
I think
Oh, I'm gone. Okay.
maybe if like for example their landlord deferred their payments and then they suddenly like the payments are a lot and then they gotta like make all that money back, so then they gotta like up their prices too.
Makes
Which
sense.
technically, when demand goes up, you kind of have to up your prices to meet supply. I don't know. I don't remember my economics. Ellen knows more economics than me now, probably.
Wait, won't there be
Yeah, I
more in
definitely don't
demand
know
because
more
people are like
economics
wanting
than
to cut their hair?
I'm pretty sure you do. At least you're studying it now, so at least no matter what, any information you're getting is more up to date compared to the information that I know from like 6 years ago.
Well, I got like a D in the class, so
Don't worry, me too. I passed with D's and C's in university. But where would you guys want to go?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about it, but I didn't know what to say. Cause some of my
Because
friends
you've been
were
to China already.
no, some of my friends were planning to go to Arizona, and another friend was like, let's go to Bolivia, and another friend was like Egypt, and I was like, okay, I'm going to obviously this after.
What's in
Those
Go to
are
all of
Arizona?
them.
What's in Arizona?
oh, I
Iced
The
love
tea.
Grand
Arizona.
Canyon. That's it.
The iced
No,
tea.
so much.
No, no, not the iced tea. Or like you just want to go for like the environment and stuff, nature. The Grand Canyon. That's all I know.
Wait, the Grand Canyon is in
Phoenix.
Arizona?
Yeah, it's in Arizona.
Phoenix Suns.
I don't know
Yeah,
my
it's in
geography.
Arizona.
I'm sorry.
It's like
I
2
didn't pay
hours away
attention.
from Las Vegas.
Because I had to like,
Oh, I'm really bad at geography.
yeah, I had to drive 6 hours from Las Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know, my geography teacher
Yeah,
back
and
then
the
would just
different time
spend his
zones for
time
Las
making fun of
Vegas.
students. Whenever he saw someone eating a bag of chips, his response was like, "You keep eating those, we're gonna have to butter up the door so that you can get out."
What?
What?
You Brazil?
Yeah, I had a very sarcastic and rude geography teacher. Yeah, like that question about like where to go. Like even now, I don't know where I would go. I feel like during this quarantine, like I've gotten so comfortable with just like being at home that I don't even really want to go anywhere anymore.
Yeah, going out is an effort sometimes.
Yeah, like it's just this is my comfort zone now. Okay, this is the comfort zone that I'm gonna stay in for a while.
You got to break out of it.
No, that involves spending money.
Well, everything's closed.
That's also true. That's actually very true. But yeah, like, what would be some of the advice that you guys would give to people who, I guess, who are aware that they need to break out of the comfort zone, but are still not able to because of their fear?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is tough.
Because I think this is one thing that I think everyone struggles with, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I think.
Oh,
sorry.
Go on. No, go
No,
on.
you go ahead. Okay.
No, with that, I feel like you need like a friend who knows that you're going through that as well, and someone who can like push. Because sometimes you need like that extra support and encouragement from people in order to do it. Because before when I went to China, like I consulted with so many friends about it. I was telling them to tell me, I was literally telling them to convince me not to go to China.
Why would you tell them to convince you not to?
Because it was like I was like really scared too, and I had like a lot of problems back then too. Like there's a lot of different factors to it, but I eventually just said like screw this, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna like learn and like explore. This is probably gonna be like my only chance to do it.
That's the best way to do it. Just
Yeah.
go.
That it
But
really is.
I think like I saw a Twitter post that someone said that people who were scared to go to school when they were 32 and they thought that they would graduate by the time they're 36, and someone said that you're still gonna be 36, you might as well just do those courses and go to school. So that's another good way to think about it. Is that
That is
you're
actually a
gonna-
very good way to think
you're
about
gonna
it.
be there anyway, so you might as well just do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I got to do.
That's something I did do.
Well, now that Ellen's doing it, it's time for Alex to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think another way, I mean, everyone's different, but you know, if it's something like school, it could also be baby steps, right? Like that's another method. So take one course here or there, and then, you know, when you're ready, take a full semester or whatever. Or if you don't wanna, or if you have like problems like making friends or whatever, just, you know, say hi to one person on the street just randomly, and then, you know, or something like that. Say talk to someone at the coffee shop, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I think when people are afraid to do something, or like when they take like the first step, then they start realizing like it's actually not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure about other people, but for me, like when I take that first step, it's usually like I treat it as like it's progress and that I'm growing as a person.
Of course.
And I think I'm actually addicted to progress and accomplishments. So like I don't know if everyone works like that, but taking that first step is definitely like the biggest thing to do, and it's also the hardest thing to do. It's easier said than done, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. We've touched on aspects of comfort zone being not necessarily like a negative thing, but what are the, you know, I'm sure there's positive to comfort zones as well, right?
What would be the positives of comfort zones? Actually, that's actually a good thing. Okay, what are the positives of staying in the comfort zone?
Security.
Ooh, yeah.
Stability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Security, yeah.
So would you say like if someone
Oh,
he's back.
it did get even better.
Oh my god.
It's okay. You guys can continue this episode without me.
It's okay, just stay in as much as you can.
Crying.
Lucas is crying, guys. Lucas is crying. Oh my god. Because when you said like stability and all that stuff in comfort zone, it actually made me think like, so you know how like a lot of successful people they've been people they tend to break out of their comfort zones like constantly, and I think would you say like once you make it according to your own terms, would you start falling into the comfort zone because it's stable? Like, do you think Mark Zuckerberg is like in his comfort zone now?
I think so, I guess. I haven't seen him really do anything
Besides for
beyond.
sharing pictures of his family, that's all he does.
He's learning Mandarin, you know.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, his wife's Mandarin, or can speak Mandarin.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Also, Lucas is gone again. No, because I think I don't really see the positives in the comfort zone only because like I spent most of my life in it, unwilling to try, and I think it actually stemmed from my parents as well, because my parents are people who would also prefer to stay in the comfort zone, but at the same time, like I understand, since they're at an age where they're close to retirement, right? So like it's totally fine. But I think even growing up, they've always been kind of like you know staying within the comfort zone. I mean, like they wanted to go out of the comfort zone, but like fear and risk kind of take over, and then they stay in it. And I think growing up, they've always tried to tell me to like don't take risks and just
And
I
I think
guess
that's a lot of immigrant parents.
because they're afraid of like the challenges that we'd face over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my parents are totally like they avoid risks as much as possible, and that's how they've taught me. So I guess this is another reason why like me and my parents don't really get along anymore, because like I'm constantly, not constantly, but like I try my best to look for ways to continuously improve myself in terms of like career and like everything. And to them, they think it's weird, or like they think
It's not normal.
yeah, or like it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents are also very skeptical though, so like it's, I don't know, they're weird. But yeah, I think it is most like immigrant parents here that are kind of like that.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with that, because like my parents came from China, and they're like, okay, we've set the foundation, so why like go away from it, right?
Yeah, like if the wheel ain't broken, why fix it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I guess being in the comfort zone, I guess you feel more happy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can see comfort zone as being routine, because routine doesn't have to be a bad thing either.
Mm-hmm.
So if your routine has made you successful, then you can stick to it.
Yeah. Like people just feel more content, because I think for some people maybe their surroundings are filled with chaos and a routine helps them find peace, and then when they find peace they feel like it's comfortable and then they're happy. And I
Mhm.
think another one of the things that people say is like in this world, life is short, like it's better to be happy than to be like stressing and worrying about stuff all the time.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, like one of the advice that I or like some of the things that I've seen people complain about during quarantine has also been people are just complaining that like it's boring or they're very bored.
Hmm.
And I think one of these people actually said it in like the Salt Discord, and I've been saying to him and even to other people, I'm almost at a point where like it almost sounds like I'm preaching it, but like I think during this time when everyone's alone, I think it's like the best time to kind of pursue your hobbies, your passions, and to actually like learn more about you know stuff,
Mhm.
whether it be like to improve your career or like things that you like learn and like better yourself. That's basically what I think people should be doing. But I also get like I guess a lot of people have worked for so long that they feel like this has been like a really a long earned break kind of thing, right?
Right. But
Because that was
also,
kind of me in the beginning.
There's nothing wrong with having a break, but if you're gonna be bored, then like do something about it.
Wait, Cindy, what were you gonna say?
but it's just that some people like they have like different responses in responding to like um people are calling this trauma in a way, because like I guess like if you have anxiety or like mental illness, it's like a really hard time for you. And like the last thing you would think about would be like personal development, right?
Y- Yeah, mental health in this quarantine thing.
Like it
I don't
has
know. This like
declined.
it's
Like people can't have access to their therapist. Like I read a study, well not a study, but I read an article from Blog TL that like mental health has gone down since the pandemic.
yeah, I can see that. Like there's been two sides, I guess, to it. Like I know there's people whose mental health will probably be like getting worse during this time.
Yeah.
But from from what I read, I think from what I remember, I think I told you this too before, Cindy. It's more like for people who live in like constant anxiety, their world maybe it's like constant chaos in their world. And for the world to be in chaos right now, physically in reality, there's also a lot of people who have anxiety who think like it's like they're normal because they're so used to the chaos. But I do agree, like the lack of therapy and everything right now, it is bad. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of those people are also, not all of them, but some of them are also the ones who have been protesting about the lockdown, or like they're telling the governments to just lift the lockdown. I don't know. There's a lot of different kinds of people nowadays, so it's like, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to add?
If you want to get out of your comfort zone, you should do it. I know it's kind of hard.
That's the hard part.
I know
The hardest part.
The hardest part. I guess it's the mentality too, but you guys can do it.
It is. I think I always say, like, sometimes you may be afraid to try something, but once you try it, you'll actually realize it's actually not that bad.
Oh yeah, that too.
Russell,
That's like,
travel by yourself.
Anyways,
yeah, you should do it. Oh
okay,
my
I'll take
God.
Alex with me.
Yes. Yes, take him.
But I think that does it for this episode. I think Lucas just gave up.
Yeah.
He's not here.
Yeah, Lucas is gone. So thank you guys for coming out for the
Thank you.
podcast. We will see you guys soon. I'll drag you guys back on the episode. Okay, well, Lucas is back again when I'm about to end things.
Hey, thanks for
As
listening.
usual.
Good night.
Welcome back,
Thanks,
Lucas.
thanks for listening to Sad Boy Podcast.
Welcome back, Lucas, but goodbye, Lucas. He doesn't even know what the episode's
I
about.
don't.
Oh my god.
Thanks for listening to the Sad Boy Podcast.
Please remember to subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and have a nice day, I guess.
Yeah, stay sad or happy.
Yeah,
Sad?
happy.
Sad?
Sad
Happy?
boy.
Sad Boy Podcast.
Sad Boy Podcast. Good night.